Whether you're new to this channel or you've been here since the beginning, you'll probably notice that I talk about and teach about a lot of different topics. Some of those in particular being men's style, classic menswear, fitness and nutrition, leadership and relationship advice, and just general lifestyle topics surrounding personal and professional growth. But I am first and foremost a follower of Jesus. Simply put, I'm a Christian because I embrace the teachings of Christ. And I get that you might be wondering how my faith relates to the topics that I make videos on. And I'm here to tell you that I think that it connects to everything, though perhaps not in the obvious ways. And today's video is meant to flesh out why I do what I do here on YouTube and why I write what I write about on my blog. And for those of you who didn't know we had a blog, well, now you do. Check the link in the description. This video is a little bit different. Not sticking to any sort of hard and fast script. I'm just sort of grabbing the microphone here and we're weaving in and out of the talking points that I want to discuss. No fancy suit on, no nice clothes, nothing particularly notable in the background. So yeah, I guess we'll start with a statement of belief, and that is that I believe that every man who wants to dress well, strives for success and fulfillment, seeks meaning and purpose in his life, yearns to feel respected and loved, and aims to get fit, is really just looking for God. And I know that's a bold claim, but let me explain. I have grown a bit weary of how many modern men's lifestyle influencers have chosen to go about mentoring and teaching other guys how to do life. You know, while it's true that having a good sense of style, high level of fitness, a steady and impressive income, high degrees of education, and even a fair bit of confidence can be good, I have found that the advice often offered by these would-be masculine teachers does not seem to hold any substantial value. Many of these self-proclaimed manosphere gurus struggle to convey the fundamental meaning of life, particularly as men navigating today's world. It shouldn't only revolve around wealth or perceived social status, particularly when considering the many affluent and famous people who appear to be struggling with unhappiness in their everyday lives. And it can't be about having anything we desire whenever we want it, since no material possessions or amount of earthly experiences can genuinely satisfy the deep yearning for fulfillment that we all seem to share. And unfortunately, it doesn't appear to depend solely on happiness, love, or even a meaningful connection with another person in the form of a spouse or a partner. None of that is enough. And you're probably wondering, how would you know this, Chandler? Well, because I've been there. And like you, I'm human. I've been the guy who has searched for meaning in an attempt to feel important or to be remembered by a world so eager to move at the speed of light. I've been the guy who has searched for love in all the wrong places, only to feel emptier the further I went along. And I have been the guy who would prefer to have his pride and his ego drip-fed while his soul is slowly starved away. So you're probably wondering, what on earth makes me qualified to tell you how to live? The short answer is nothing at all. I don't have all the answers to life's biggest questions, and I certainly can't claim to know how to solve your problems, not by any earthly means at least. But I do know who can. You see, my job isn't to tell you how to live your life. It's to point you towards the giver of life. His name is Jesus, and he claims to be the way, the truth, and the life. In a morally pluralistic society so keen on discussing truth as if it were a relative concept, I'm here to tell you that the capital T truth was a person who lived roughly 2,000 years ago. And he wasn't just the Son of God. He was God, and still is. So then why do I care about all of this? Because men want answers to seemingly simple yet deeply complicated issues. The young man, or even the grown man who needs to know how to tie his tie, may also deeply desire to connect with his own father and learn something from him, hoping to feel loved and accepted as his son for the first time in his life. The guy who wants to become a leader to avoid appearing weak in front of his coworkers and boss may secretly care more about discovering his purpose in life than about climbing the corporate ladder. The gentleman who hates his reflection in the mirror and truly believes that if he just appeared more masculine, muscular, or athletic, everything would somehow be okay, probably isn't as concerned about his health as he is about how others perceive him. And the deeply anxious man in his mid-40s who just got broken up with by the woman he dreamed of building the latter portion of his life alongside might very well be secretly grappling with his lifelong abandonment issues and fear of loneliness. We are a creation that is desperately seeking to reunite with our Creator. As a result of this natural desire to be known, seen, heard, and loved, we all choose to be shaped by something in this world. Because the life we live in is the life we live out. Something has taken hold of each of us and controls our lives, whether it's a person, a group, an object, an interest, a hobby, an ideology, or an addiction. So my question to you is this: what is forming you? I see it more and more these days. Many men are lost, hurting, lacking confidence, in need of someone to follow, and desperate for wisdom and compassion. When we men are directionless, we will follow nearly anyone who can communicate some semblance of a vision to us, regardless of whether it's good or bad. And that can be a dangerous place to be in, amen? It is no surprise, then, that many men turn to the internet or the nearest self-help book looking for someone to teach them how to be a man, and a successful, good-looking one at that. But those we sometimes choose to follow cannot truly satisfy our deep spiritual longing for truth and inner peace. To be a man in God's economy is to recognize that He placed us on this earth to enable life to flourish and to thrive. To be a man in God's world is to acknowledge that He provided us with a shining example of what a man is meant to be like in Jesus, who was the manliest man who ever walked the face of the planet. To be a man is to endeavor to provide well, lead effectively, mentor wisely, defend and protect diligently, and to be the generous friend that so many others need in this deeply broken world. A man who succeeds by doing all of these things will grow to be a peaceful presence in people's lives. As Saint Seraphim of Sarov said nearly 300 years ago, "Acquire inner peace, and 1,000 souls around you will be saved." But a man who himself hurts winds up spreading more hurt and subjects others to it. And if you ask me, society doesn't need any more of that. Many of the world's problems exist because men have spiraled out of control, allowing their hearts to harden beyond measure. Instead of becoming purveyors of peace, they become harbingers of chaos. Fatherlessness and the lack of genuine leadership among men fuel many of our most pressing social issues, the consequences of which are of the furthest reaching variety. I have observed so many men like this, and of course, I have been one such man myself. If you've ever found yourself searching the internet for advice and inspiration on being a better man, then you might feel like I once did. That is, you want to dress for the job you want because you're no longer satisfied with the job you have, or perhaps you seek the dream girlfriend, a higher income, respect from your peers, or an improved physique, among other things. But all of this earthly bread for which we are often eager to consume will never fill the God-sized hole in our hearts. Trust me, it'll only end up breaking you, my friend. But Jesus once said, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst." Jesus is the only bread that breaks for you. He knows that we don't just need healing, we need a healer. I'm not asking you to place your faith in religion because, let's face it, religion is ultimately a man-made institution that tends to let us down. Do you know why? Because humans often make things worse. We are incapable of doing everything right. Sure, we have had some good moments here and there, but overall, we are painfully insufficient. Everything we create or touch eventually deteriorates. We just aren't enough, regardless of what society or the self-help movement wants us to believe. I'm not trying to be negative here, it's just an honest diagnosis. I am, however, asking you to consider putting your faith in Jesus because He is more than enough for us. He is the only bread that satisfies. So, yeah, this channel is not like any of the others. And depending on who you are and your experience with the Christian faith, or church for that matter, you might be hesitant to stick around. And you know what? I get it. Really, I do. You're not wrong to question if I'm just some other religious quack on the internet looking to tie Jesus into anything and everything. But if your interest is piqued, just know that the door is always open. I'll be here. You now know where to find me. My only goal is to spend time with Jesus, be like him, and ultimately do as he did. This is what it means to be a disciple of Christ. That doesn't mean being a separatist by giving up some of the things I have a passion for, like men's style, fitness, growth, and professional development, in exchange for only talking about the Bible all of the time. And it certainly doesn't mean having to be a syncretist by blending together all of these earthly interests to construct a postmodern lens through which I view the person of Jesus Christ. Because I assure you, I aim to view the world through the lens of Jesus rather than viewing Jesus through the lens of the world. Instead, it means doing what Jesus did by meeting people where they're at in life. So, welcome, my friend. I'm so glad that you're here. Perhaps you initially came here for advice on various topics as a man, whether it's what to wear for your date or job interview, how to lead well and purposefully in the workplace, or maybe just how to get in shape. But I hope that you'll choose to stay for Jesus. And I know this is entirely new and different from what many others attempt to do on their channels, but get used to different. Let's all be the men God fashioned us to be. And until next time, gents, stay stylish and stay blessed.